Forbidden Door 2. Am I right? Eh? Because some AEW stars appeared on WWE TV programming on WWE Raw to say congratulations to John Cena for his 20 years of service?
I suppose.
Is that what we're calling it?
I suppose. 20 years of wrestling.
20 years of wrestling. Let's call it that one. On the main roster. Anyway, hello, welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast review of Monday Night Raw. I am Luco and DAD, and look who it is, everyone. It's Sullivan, Bo Brown.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Do you know how great I'm doing, Sullivan, Bo Brown? There's an option here on YouTube that says, creators, da-da-da-da-da, by inserting ads, more viewers are watching. Give it a try. I'm not going to do that, everyone. I'm not just going to start inserting ads.
No.
Just yet. I mean, once Ollie finds out about this.
Oh, my goodness.
Atageddon.
All right, we've done another segment, and now to an ad.
I mean, like, it's been 7 minutes. Press the ad button. But no, I won't do that to you fine folk.
No.
For the moment,
yes.
For the time being. But anyway, yeah, we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw. Please do give us a thumbs up to say thank you for not placing adverts in this thing. And please, while you're clicking links and stuff, WrestleTalk.com/support. Get your thoughts in on this episode of Monday Night Raw, Money in the Bank, and of course, Wabudadoo, John Cena. Because I don't know if you know this, Sullivan Bo Brown.
Oh, yeah.
John Cena was on the show last night.
What? I barely even noticed him.
I know.
Why didn't they advertise it more that he was there?
Yeah. For the Money in the Bank Go Home show, this was really like, it was the John Cena show. They were really, really thrilled that John Cena was back for the week.
So thrilled.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. That even the opening bit where he's coming through all of the main roster and they're all celebrating. And like he is, like he's a celebrity.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. They treated him like he was Logan Paul coming into WrestleMania to be like, oh my God, can you believe John Cena's here? Apparently, actually, like WrestleVotes put out a tweet yesterday, a report saying that like backstage atmosphere yesterday was like massive.
Really?
It was really, really huge in the locker room because they all love Cena. And like they see Cena as this like massive and this all-time locker room leader. So him coming back was just like, oh my God, Cena's going to be here. It's going to be a really nice atmosphere backstage. So like, you know, what happened kind of when Cena made his entrance, it was earlier in the day, like they showed him walking backstage and they had all of the wrestlers lined up to kind of greet him and stuff. It was quite a nice visual. I have like one minor pet peeve about it. It's kind of a major pet peeve about the company as a whole, but sort of like targeted to this one segment. WWE have this amazing way of making things not cool.
Yes.
And they keep trying to be like, this is so cool. This is amazing. You love this. And kind of like the whole thing of Cena coming back for a week is cool. And it feels like it should be a big deal. But because they are just like, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool. I'm like, after a while, I'm like, I don't think this is cool anymore.
Absolutely not.
And this whole like walking through, and like the Miz was shaking hands with him and happy to see him, and Dolph Ziggler was doing it. And I'm like, you two of all people should be really hating this man. Like, you've been feuding with this guy for like years and years and years. Like, I don't know why. You could do it baby faces, sure. Yeah. But I think the heel should also be like, oh, that John Cena.
Yeah.
It kind of irks me a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They shouldn't be shaking his hand. They should at the very least not be there for that bit. That's fine.
Just do the baby faces.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine because, you know, he's always been a baby face. Very famously. Annoyingly. Always been a baby face.
Yeah.
It's just, it was a little bit odd. And I think that you're absolutely right. They definitely they hammered this home so much that it became less and less exciting as the night went on. Yeah. And like initially it was like, oh yeah, this is fun. Oh, it's nice seeing John Cena back. He's great. All right. Oh, okay. It's a lot of you put a lot. Okay, now we don't have to talk about. Okay, you were just talking about John Cena.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sean Ross Sapp said this on the Fightful podcast, and it's so true, by the way. If WWE put a fraction of this effort into any of their stars they currently have, they wouldn't need to rely on John Cena coming back to bumper rating.
You're absolutely right.
Like, it's such a good point. Like, they do no effort to make anyone else feel like a star.
No.
So, like, anyone who returns, who they did make feel like a star 20 years ago, now, like, it's like, well, the only way we can bump a rating is to bring back Brock Lesnar. It's to bring back Goldberg. It's to bring back John Cena. And it's like, well, yeah, just take all the effort that you've got being like, oh my God, look how great this is. And do that to Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Do that to AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, You've got loads of stars.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got so many options of talented wrestlers who are really, really good, who could easily fill those boots. And it's very interesting because I wouldn't be surprised if in, however many years we'd see the same thing happening with Roman coming back.
Oh, yeah. They'll do like 20 years of Roman reigns and things like that.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it'll be him back from Hollywood. And it's, oh, my God, I can't believe it.
They'll probably do it with like, Seth and people like that. Like, they'll make anyone... They'll do it with The Miz. Because The Miz is nearing 20 years on the main roster.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like maybe in a couple of years' time.
Yeah.
I feel like he was on the main roster in 2005. I was at university when he was.
Yes.
Because I remember like JBL ragging on him on commentary stuff because he hated him so much. Like everyone did, really.
Oh, yeah.
But like JBL had this one line about The Miz. I'll never forget this. When it was JBL's birthday and he was on commentary and stuff. And Miz is having this match, and Michael Cole says, "Hey, maybe the Miz will get you something nice for your birthday." And JBL says, "This is a direct quote: he could just get something for my birthday. He could die."
Oh my
God! He could die.
I mean, we all didn't like the Miz at that point, but. It's a certain point.
It was a big claim.
It's a big, he's quite annoying, but
in a couple of years' time, when they do the 20 years of Miz, JBL will be in that little cameo video, being like, "One of the greatest of all time to ever do it, Michael. I love the Miz. I always thought he was great."
That's a very good JBL.
Thank you. I used to do a JBL bumper for. Back in the day when we used to do this podcast, Ollie and I would review Raw and SmackDown in the same episode because I was only ever in on Wednesdays because I was still part-time. And so Raw was on a Monday, SmackDown was on Tuesday, we'd record the podcast on a Wednesday. And to do the bumpers, I would just do impressions. So I had, my bumper was, "It's SmackDown, Maggle. Look, it's a flying Uso."
Yeah.
What was it? "It's SmackDown, Maggle. My God, we got a flying Uso." I think I just sounded like that. I used to do Booker T as well, which I think has aged more poorly.
I can imagine.
Anyway, this whole John Cena bit when he's walking down, it's going to be my last night I've got here, so this goes on for a while. It's like that Key and Peele sketch.
When it's Obama shaking hands with people.
And it just keeps going and going and going and going. We had some more Cena stuff, though, because, let's go into the title of this video. They had, like, video cameos from people talking about how great they all are. So it was, in the first batch, it was Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Trish Stratus, Triple H, The Big Show, Paul White of All Elite Wrestling, and Bryan Danielson of All Elite Wrestling. And then the second batch, they had Chris Jericho of All Elite Wrestling. They didn't credit them as AEW wrestler or AEW star or anything like that. And even with Danielson, they called him Daniel Bryan. It's the WWE name, right? But apparently, according to Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful Select, this all came about because WWE just reached out to Tony Khan and said, "Hey, we're doing this thing for John Cena. Would you mind if any of them would be interested in it? They'd like to record a video message for people that, have been either instrumental or Cena was instrumental to their careers." Someone like, The Big Show. I think Cena's first big WrestleMania match was against The Big Show for the US title. Jericho was like his first real championship feud after he won the belt. Bryan was the guy that he handpicked to give the rub to, because he's like, I want to hand the title off to someone. I want it to be Danielson. And then WWE were like, "Yeah, let's bury him." And then, until WrestleMania 30, when the crowd give us no other option than to put the belt on him. And Tony Khan was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a really cool thing to do."
Yeah.
That's how wrestling should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Why can't it, like... That should be perfectly normal.
It should be an absolutely normal thing to happen. But it's just like, AEW guys appearing on WWE, like, "Oh my God, did you see this? I wonder what political movements had to go." No, someone asked politely, and someone politely answered back, "Yes." That's the story.
Of course that's fine. That would be mad for me to say anything other than yes, because that's obviously fine.
Of course it's fine, because it's Bryan Danielson appearing, and WWE know what they've done with this as well, because I don't know if you've seen this. On the YouTube clips that they've got of this, Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho the thumbnails for the Terrorist Federal. "Oh, you know what you're doing, WWE. You know what you're doing." You didn't put Triple H on the thumbnail.
Nope.
You put Steve Austin on the thumbnail. Stephanie McMahon, current CEO of the company. You know what you're doing. Put Bryan Danielson on the thumbnail. And it is like, Daniel Bryan. Matt will say, "You won't believe who shouted out."
like, I hope it does sort of, I mean, it might just be this and then nothing more, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but it would be so cool if they had actually had a working relationship, AEW and WWE.
Yeah. Tempest made this point in the office. Because we were talking about like how this all came together. Because Ollie hadn't seen the show, and I was like, "Oh my god, did you see? Like, Bryan Danielson was on the show." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was just this video message thing, but it was really nice." And like, they all just said really nice things about Cena.
Yeah. And
Tempest piped up and said, "If WWE just called up Tony Khan and said, 'Can we do Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania?' Tony Khan would probably say yes.
Yes, he probably would.
Probably would just say yes, and they'd be like, because Tony Khan's a big wrestling fan.
Yeah.
So we were like, can you imagine how amazing that would be?
It'd be so cool.
It'd be so cool. I mean, I'd like something in return.
Yes.
We'll do like a return match at All Out or something.
Yeah.
But like, it's I think you'd quite happily be like, let's go ahead with that.
Yeah, 100%. Even if Omega was to lose both matches, even if like, at WrestleMania and All Out, if they did that program where they did both of them, I think even if he lost both, that would still be very, very cool and be a massive boon to AEW.
Massive, yeah. And Tony Khan would be sitting there and he'd probably hug both of them. And then people make fun of him on Twitter for it because I think Vince Russo thinks hugging's weird.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that.
What a weird man.
I saw somebody, it was Maggie, I think, tweeted just saying, because he said, I would never even hug my wife like this. And she was like, please go and hug your wife.
Your unloved wife. Just go and hug her, you weirdo.
Such a weird thing to be like, I wouldn't even hug my wife like
weird
this.
Thing to brag about. I would never hug my wife like that. What is he, gay?
Oh my God. I couldn't imagine hugging my wife. Like, that's disgusting.
I bet you his wife's made him laugh.
I bet he asked her about her feelings. Disgusting. What a weirdo.
What a weird man. What a weird man.
It was a lovely hug.
It's a very nice thing. It was a very nice photo.
He was really happy.
He's a passionate guy. He's a wrestling fan. We're all fans.
Yeah, exactly. And like, he was just really happy that this guy joined the company.
So I've got Claudio Castagnoli. He's a proper mid-2000s wrestling marks. Yeah. Like, oh my God, have you seen it, guys? I've got Claudio on my roster. Yeah. I've got the new Claudio action figure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's essentially what Tony Khan views AEW as, just smashing together action figures in a fantastic way.
If he had his way, there'd be Power Rangers in it as well. Like other things he loved from his childhood.
I mean, if we all had our way, there'd be Power Rangers in it.
Exactly, yeah. Can I get Alan Grant from Jurassic Park? He's one of my wrestlers now.
They do move in hers.
But anyway, the main thing for this, we'll kind of talk about all the John Cena stuff here, because there was some like backstage segments which were covering the main portion of the show. Yeah. One of which was Cena chatting with Ezekiel, which was quite funny because he was playing up that Ezekiel is not Elias. And I mean, actually, as we know from last week, they are different people.
Yeah.
And he mentioned Elrod as well.
I love that Elrod is definitely real. That's fantastic.
Elrod is now canon.
Yep.
Love that. Because it makes me think that Kevin Owens just said that off the cuff.
Yep.
And now they're like, oh, let's run with that. Let's do loads of them. Like the Nutty Professor.
It's so brilliant. I can't wait to see what Elrod looks like. I hope they have something in plan for that.
Well, when you say that name, the first thing I think of is Elroy Jetson. I want him to be like a proper little mini.
That'd be great.
Like a smaller version of him.
That'd be
so fantastic. They film it in that like Lord of the Rings perspective style.
It'd be amazing.
Little Hobbit version of him.
I would love to watch that.
Yeah. But Cena came out for a big promo.
Yep.
Introduced by Vince.
Honestly, one of my notes was I am shocked that John Cena's PR people allowed Vince to introduce John Cena.
100%. That was the thing I was the most surprised about with all of this. Vince coming out on TV, he's going to do it fine. Yep. I've said my piece about it. I think it's weird. If you're going to have him on TV, put him in a storyline, if that's your attitude.
Yes.
But yeah, like, Cena won't do the Saudi shows.
Yeah.
Like he did that first Saudi show, and when he realized, oh no, this is just propaganda. And he looked so uncomfortable on that first show, being like, the hotels here are first rate and I've been treated very well since I've arrived. But like, oh my, you could feel, that bit in The Simpsons with Tom Jones, where it's like, Hanson, keep smiling. That's what John Cena's promo was like.
I just remembered that. That is one of the funniest bits.
That's it. Keep smiling. And but yeah, and it's so he won't do the Saudi shows now because it was like, well, that might damage my reputation within Hollywood and things like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm amazed that his PR team signed off on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I initially thought they were going to share a ring together and maybe even have a chat together. Vince obviously cleared the ring before John Cena got in there, but it is really genuinely shocking. And also, like, Vince, stop appearing on television, please.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. And actually, like, just the visual optics of the way they structure these segments is really weird because Vince made his entrance.
Yeah.
And there's no wrestlers there.
Yes.
So Vince then goes down to the ring and he's like, "That's the greatest of all time, John Cena." And he points up the ramps. And all of a sudden, there's loads of wrestlers like lining the,
so many,
like all the roster just sort of lining the crowd to be like, "Woohoo, John Cena!" And then John Cena comes out, and he gets to the ring, and Vince is no longer there. And then it cuts to a wide shot, and all the wrestlers have gone as well. So if you're there in the arena, did you just see Vince go like, "John Cena"? Well, I'm not sticking around to hear what he's got to say.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. And then the wrestlers being like, "Woo! Well, I've seen the entrance. So I'm going to head back now."
Don't need to hear this.
I need to be first in line for catering. Like, Daddy's hungry. Like, I need to go feed myself. Don't care what he's got to say.
Boring.
Boring. Oh, chat. You people. La da da da. It's just really weird. Like, why didn't they stick around to watch him say stuff?
Very odd. Very odd. Because then you could have had the end of the promo where he's going up the ramp again. And, like,
everyone applauding him and whatnot.
Applauding him and going like, "You're great."
Very bizarre. But he cut this very passionate and heartfelt promo. It was a "you people" promo.
Yes.
But a hey, you people.
Yes.
Like, I'm only here because you allowed me to be here because you kept keeping me relevant. You would tell me I was great. You would tell me that I was suck, which is kind of, I went over this in my edited review. I was one of those guys. I was in my 20s when John Cena was a top guy. So like I couldn't bear to watch John Cena matches. Yeah. A, not very good, but B, it was just like, oh no, you should be pushing this guy. I'm at smartmarks.com forums being like, oh, this guy sucks, Cena sucks. And I was that angry lad on Twitter, or the primordial Twitter that was forums. But now, like, I'm a bit older now and a bit wiser. I realized that my misguided anger wasn't towards the team, it was more towards the company and things like that. And actually, I was like, he's fine. Like, he's all right, really. He's totally fine. He seems like a nice enough chap. I've interviewed him once now. He's a very, very nice man, very well dressed.
Oh, great.
I was just in a t-shirt because, of course, I was. Look at
and nothing else.
and he didn't pass comment because he's that professional.
He's such a professional.
I mean, he works in wrestling. Like, if I walked in in just my pants, he'd be like, "Oh, cool, it's like Randy Orton."
Here we go again.
I guess they're doing the film circle as well. But
so you were just in a t-shirt.
I was just in a t-shirt, and he was wearing this like tailored suit, immaculate, amazing. Oh, so many comments in the video were just like, "You look such a scruffy bug," because I'm in a t-shirt and a cap. It's John Cena in his 3-piece suit.
Incredible.
I did look like an absolute mess in that video, in all fairness.
But to be fair, he spent the last however many years, as was pointed out by the Signed and also I think Theory as well, in jorts. So ultimately, you win.
Actually, we didn't finish the thing about the backstage segment because I was going to bring that up now. Yeah. So you did the thing with Ezekiel.
Yes.
And then Austin Theory walked in. And Theory was just like, "Hey, I'm the future of this company. Look at my arms, youngest US champion," and all this sort of stuff. And in Cena's promo, I thought they might set something up. Because they'd set up earlier in the night Miz is going to be tagging with Logan Paul. At SummerSlam. And I thought that maybe they'll have a big angle here. Well, not even a big angle, just like Austin Theory comes out and they do something and then they'll set up a match for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the direction we're heading. There's sort of like rumors that they're going to do Theory Cena at SummerSlam. And Cena in this promo said, like, "I don't know when my next match will be, but I think there will be one. I want there to be one."
Yeah.
So I thought, I guess it's because Theory was in the next segment, but it also didn't need to be in that next segment. We'll get to that a bit. So yeah, I was surprised they didn't do anything with this.
It makes me think that maybe it isn't going to happen at SummerSlam, that maybe it's going to be built up for later, that this is just sowing the seeds of longer term stuff. But I don't see it going all the way to next year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, like save it till Mania. It depends on what Cena's filming schedule is like, I guess.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. It's actually kind of probably out of WWE's hands. And I feel like if they were going to build a SummerSlam, they would have said something more explicit here.
Yeah.
That like, or Theory would have potentially like come out after he had done the promo and then like done his own promo or maybe a tag or something.
And I guess you could make the argument like, well, Theory's facing Lashley at Money in the Bank. You want to put the focus on that. But like, I mean, this is WWE. They would well look past that because it's a John Cena match. They'd be like, well, bollocks to that. Like, I'm done promoting that one. John Cena's here. Like, that's a much bigger match to promote.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe they're not going to do a match at SummerSlam.
Maybe not.
I don't know. But like, I don't know. I thought this was a very nice promo.
Yes.
And actually, the fact that it wasn't an angle kind of made it all the nicer.
Yes.
Because it was just a heartfelt thank you.
Yeah.
A real just like, hey, thanks for letting me do this. I'll see you again in 20 years. You know, like, I can't wait to see what the next 20 years brings. I'm 45 now. Like, he was very nice. He was very humble. He was just very John Cena.
Yeah. And he seemed very genuine in it as well. Like, it was, I loved this promo. I was like, this is, I can just sit back and watch you talk for as long as you want, because he's just so charismatic, and he's got it's really lovely.
It was, and actually it kind of made me nostalgic as well for like the mid 2000s, and like because they kept showing these video packages like his rise and stuff, and I really did have these flashbacks of just like, man, I was so angry at that lad when I was in my 20s. Really hated John Cena in my 20s. I was that like, I was like, no, CM Punk's the guy. Like, we push CM Punk.
See, I probably, like, my first time that I sort of fell off watching wrestling was just at the point where Cena was just coming up, and it was just before Cena became irritating. So when I came back to wrestling, quite a long time later, I was chatting to my friend Peter, who'd got me into wrestling, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember John Cena being a big deal, and he looked at me with vacant, dead, sad eyes.
You weren't there for the dark times.
You don't know what you
every pay-per-view it was him versus Edge or Randy Orton.
And he always won.
He buried the Nexus.
Yes. You don't even know of the Nexus, do you? The Nexus are gone now. So briefly they were the core, and now there's no one.
Now there's no one. They're diagonal letters on the t-shirt. I tempted that video recently of just like people who had like bad first matches and stuff, and just like, oh man, Cena's the one that wins all of these matches. Like the second half of the video is like Cena beat them, and then that really derailed them. Cena won that match, and it really derailed people. That's why people like really didn't like Cena much in a way, but like some of these video packages made me feel a bit nostalgic for those times.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
But oof. Rough times they were. Let's get into your ultra chats about this. WrestleTalk.com/support. Get your voice heard in the conversation. We're kicking things off with Atten, who said, hey, it was better than the Rock's thing where he didn't even show up.
Yes, that is very true.
It's so true. Yeah, that was quite sad.
That was ridiculous.
The Survivor Series last year, which was built around The Rock, being like, oh my God, it's 25 years of The Rock. The Rock's the great one, this and the other. And actually, the only thing Rock related was that bloody golden egg from Rock's movie.
And he didn't even... That was a pay-per-view.
It was a pay-per-view. It was a whole pay-per-view. Like, there was a match dedicated to The Rock and Pizza Hut. And The Rock did not show up because he was at Domino's.
It was unbelievable. Like, it was one of the big four pay-per-views. Yes, probably the smallest of the big four, but still, like, they dedicated a whole pay-per-view just to one man. And he didn't even... Did he even do a video message?
Nope. No appearance of The Rock whatsoever. I could have booked him on Cameo, and he didn't do it. But you're right. You're right, Atten. At least John Cena was here for this one.
Yes, absolutely.
Nathan Vella said, I was at the show. I was able to be right up at the barricade to Cena's left. It's probably one of the greatest moments in my life, especially because I'm going through a tough time right now. It was an honor to be in that position. I was in for this. GOAT. Yeah, that's awesome. Like, you know, when Cena was going around, he was handing out his little sweatband things. He took out a t-shirt and gave it to a kid. And that was the thing as well. Like, it's like 8-year-olds in this crowd going bananas for John Cena.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's not been around. He's not been a top guy in this company for quite some time now, a number of years. And yet people still like revere him as this. Like, you know, if they're in their 20s, I get it because, well, you were kids it's the same sort of kids now that will tell you that the prequels are good, which they aren't.
Yes. Oh, makes me really angry when people say that the prequels are actually good when you really watch them back. No, they're not.
Nope, you just watched them when you were a child. Nostalgia's a hell of a drug. Believe me, some of the crap that I will say, like, oh no, that is a good film from my childhood. No, they're not good films. No. The prequels are actively bad movies.
Yes.
So I expect those people who are now in their 20s to be like, yeah, John Cena, I liked him when I was a child. But no, there are still kids there to be like, yeah, Cena's the best, which I think is amazing. And I think that's actually a testament to how good Cena is.
Yes, absolutely. It was really nice to see that. There's something in, like, that 8-year-old, they have been alive for less than half of John Cena's career, and they still appreciate him so much. It's just, it must have been amazing as well to be in that kind of situation, to get that T-shirt and stuff like that. Yeah,
there was a moment in the office today when Terry, editor Terry, said that one of the names she might have had was from a movie. And I won't go into all the details of it. And then Ollie stood up and was like, that's impossible. That movie came out in 1997. And Sarah was like, yeah, I was born in 1997. I'm like, oh no, oh dear, oh no.
I'll tell you what. Here's something that editor Terry told me yesterday. So me, Terry, and Blair from Norrell's Bard went out for a drink. We went out for a drink in central London. We walked past this frozen yogurt place that was, I don't know if it was actually an old Routemaster bus that they converted, because it looked too small to me. And I was like, yeah, is that a Routemaster, or is that like a mock-up of one? And she was like, Terry said, oh, well, they were really like that. Have you ever been to the London Transport Museum? And I said, Terry, I was alive when Routemasters were being used. I don't need to go to a museum.
I've got memories.
I've got distinct memories of me using Routemasters all the time, because I grew up in London. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, terrible. And then I had to explain to her what a rotary phone was, and then I was like,
wow.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah.
I remember going to a friend's house once, and his parents still had a rotary phone. And I really was like, wow, what an archaic piece of technology this is. Quite cool though. It was pretty fancy stuff. They did it because it was a fancy thing to do.
Yes.
But we had a touch tone phone in our house.
Very cool. We had a rotary phone.
Did you used to have a rotary phone?
Not anymore, unfortunately. But I did love that rotary phone.
Oh man,
it's great.
Put your finger in, move it around.
Yeah, wait for ages.
Sit I was back. The police. Oh no. And again. Oh no. It takes so long to get back to the 9.
Yeah, there was not a single design flaw in that.
And lastly, for now, Kevin said, 2002 was a big year for wrestling. The birth of TNA, the debuts of Lesnar, Orton, Batista, Cena, Mysterio, brackets in WWE, Hogan versus Rock, HBK's return. I think the biggest thing that happened was definitely Hogan winning the title. Yes, Luke, I did say that to annoy you, because that was the moment I stopped watching. 2002 was legit when I stopped watching wrestling. Like, it was a kind of a culmination of things. As kind of Kevin is sort of alluding to there. Hogan winning, I was like, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
And Austin was barely around. Rock was gone. I was like, there's all the guys I like just aren't really doing anything anymore.
Yes.
And all my friends had stopped watching. But I came back in 2005 just as Cena was like on his ascent. So he was like the runner-up of that year's Royal Rumble. Then he won the belt at that year's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, the Cena guy's kind of cool. And then like throughout the rest of that year, I'm like, nope, I think he's actually lame. Right, let's get into the rest of this episode of Raw, which opened up with... Oh, actually, Sullivan, can I do a little quiz with you?
Oh, yes, please, yeah.
So, you do Are You Smarter Than a Sullivan Year-Old?
Yes,
on Norrell's Bard Patreon podcast.
Yes.
I'm going to play a game with you here. I've got the answers already written down.
Okay,
so,
great.
WWE used to have all of their... Each match would have its own gallery on WWE.com.
Right.
So you would be like the Last Chance Battle Royal. That would be its own gallery.
Yes.
And you would click through that, 20 images that's together. They now just group them all together into one thing. And there's like 72 photos or whatever it is. But every single one of them is like, check out the blank photos from WWE Raw then date. And it's always like an adjective? No, it's an adjective. Yeah, it's a describing word.
Yeah.
That I've got 6 words that they use because it's always the same 6 words. What do you think the words are? that they use to describe the photo galleries on WWE.com.
I'm going to go for stupendous.
Is one of them.
Incredible.
Yes, check out the stupendous photos from WWE Raw.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
In fact, actually, I'm going to go for the next word that I just used, incredible.
That is one of them. Yeah, absolutely. Got 2 for 2. Check out the incredible photos.
Oh, imagine writing these down for your own photos.
Well, I mean, check out my stupendous photos of Costa del Sol.
Amazing.
Amazing is one of them, yeah.
Stunning.
Oh, it is one of them, absolutely, yeah. 4 for 4 thus far.
This is actually genuinely amazing. I can't believe that
We've got 2 more to get.
Fantastic, maybe?
No, fantastic is not one of them. No. You're in trickier terms here. Yeah. We are deep into the waters of synonyms.com. Actually, the ones that are in like a slightly different shading, because they're like, nah, you're probably not going to use these ones, but they're there if you want them, but you're probably going to use these ones up here.
Remarkable?
No, I wish it was though. I'll give you one more guess and I'll give you the answers.
Yeah, that's entirely fair. Outstanding.
Oh, no, unfortunately not. The other 2 were spectacular.
Oh, very good, yes.
And awe-inspiring.
Awe-inspiring? That's stupid. I thought stupendous was ridiculous. And the only reason why I thought about it was that that's the way that the Miz described his own balls in a later segment.
Yeah, awe-inspiring. Check out these awe-inspirings of NXT.
Unbelievable.
We opened things up with the Last Chance Battle Royal feature. Like, the only people who got entrances were the Mysterians, Nakamura, and Riddle. I see Nakamura get one of the entrances.
Yeah.
It's quite cool. But then there are also guys in the ring like AJ Styles and The Miz. And I'm like, right, they didn't get entrances? Bloody hell.
Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
All of these former champions, not just Money in the Bank participants or winners.
Jinder was there. He didn't get an entrance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mad. But it was, I thought, a pretty good battle royal. Got really, really good by the end, actually. Although it was weird. The only weird thing on this was Dolph Ziggler was a heel.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he turned babyface a couple of weeks ago.
He pretty much did.
Because we talked about it, didn't he? With the Dirty Dogs came out.
Yeah.
And they were interrupted MVP and Amos. And MVP and Amos were really upset with them for interrupting their promo. But they were like, hey, no, we're good guys now.
Yeah.
But no, Dolph was just once again a heel here.
And MVP and Amos have completely forgotten about it.
I guess so.
Clearly, they're just forgiving people.
But yeah, down to the end, the final 4 were Miz, Riddle, AJ, and Ricochet. Ricochet, by the way, had an amazing spot where T-Bar threw him out and he landed on a ladder.
Yeah.
And he jumped off that ladder. Did he do a Hurricane Rana then too?
He jumped off the ladder onto the apron again, and then he ended up doing a Hurricane Rana. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
Amazing scenes. Like, so good.
Yeah.
But T-Bar did get eliminated, as did Ricochet. And then AJ and Riddle did some really good stuff together. Like, they sort of like, because Miz did a double axe handle and sort of tweaked his knee, so he rolled to the outside. Yeah. It was quite obvious that it was a work from the outset. Yep. But at one point I was like, oh my God, this bloody industry is just like, stop getting injured, everyone.
You've only done a double axe handle and you're getting injured off that.
Yeah. But he used that to eliminate AJ Styles, and then he rolled into the ring. Him and Riddle did some good stuff. They fought on the apron, and in the end, Riddle eliminated Miz by hitting an RKO on the apron.
Yeah.
And Miz rolled off. Really, really cool finish. Awesome to see Riddle in Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Kind of tough for him because, I mean, they set up the stipulation he's not allowed to challenge Roman for the belts again. But
yes.
I think they've just dropped that.
I think they've entirely dropped that, because then they gave him a chance at the Money in the Bank last week, which he then lost, and now he's had a last chance, and now he's able to do it, I guess.
Wait, I mentioned this in the editor's review, but I didn't get an email about this. With someone being like, oh, what if it's a storyline where he can't challenge Roman? So it's now like a countdown clock where like his contract expires in a year's time and he's just desperately trying to get Roman to lose the belt so he can cash in on someone else. I was like, wow, that is a really cool storyline.
Yeah.
I think the reality is they don't care.
I think you're absolutely right. If that is what they're doing with it, props to them. That's a really good idea.
Really great story.
Yeah.
But I do not think that's what it is. I also don't think he's going to win either.
No.
Because there is one spot remaining.
Yes.
And that is because Owens versus Ezekiel is being rescheduled. They didn't say why. They just said it's going to take place at another time. I'm going to presume Friday on SmackDown, because you can't do a Money in the Bank qualifier next week on Raw.
No.
The show's this weekend.
Yes.
So either they're doing it on SmackDown, or on SmackDown they'll do some different match than people will qualify for that instead.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't really know why they've kept this spot open unless there is something, quite fun and exciting there.
Well, I made this joke in my review. It's Cody Rhodes.
It might well be.
Like, Cody, when he got injured, that was his promo after Hell in a Cell. Was like, hey, I've never won Money in the Bank. And then he did this promo later on where he's like, oh, I'm going to be out for 9 months, guys. You're not going to see me for 9 months.
I'm not going to be there, but let me talk about this match.
Let me talk about Seth Rollins possibly winning this match.
And how it's eluded my career up until now. I don't really know. I suppose maybe in the Money in the Bank is a bit like the Royal Rumble, something that you might want to win at some point in your career. In my head, the Royal Rumble is much more of like an achievement, whereas the Money in the Bank is like it's more chaos, and so I don't know.
I wonder if because WWE they've done they love numbers.
Yeah,
it's all about the numbers. Because you've got an 85% chance of winning with Money in the Bank. Maybe it's a lower percentage.
Yes,
with the Rumble.
Yeah,
maybe it is. I've not done the stats. I'll get Tempest on that. He's not busy.
No, not at all.
The Street Profits were hanging out with John Cena backstage, and he hypes them up for their match this coming Sunday.
Yep.
Then Jey Uso made his entrance. Then we got an ad break.
Yep.
Then we got all the video packages with Danielson, Triple H, and Big Show in that. Then Riddle cut a promo.
Yes.
And then Jey Uso took on Montez Ford.
Why?
I know.
Poor Jey Uso.
And Jimmy. He's got to stand there as well.
Yeah, he's got even less to do.
At least he had someone to chat with.
Yeah, at least they were together, not like Liv. Just sitting there on her own, just waiting. Also, the Street Profits and Riddle, both the conversation the Street Profits had with John Cena was exactly the same with what Riddle said John Cena and him had had, where basically John Cena said, never give up. And I was thinking, how many times is John Cena having to have this same boring conversation where wrestlers are coming up to him going, what advice did you give? Oh, I'd just say, I don't know, never give up. Hey, John, chat to me. Hey man, just never give up. See you later.
Yeah, see you later. It's on the t-shirt.
I've got to go. You should know it. I've said it a lot.
Yeah. Buy the towel. WShop.com. Just look at that every day.
See you later. I'm gotta go.
It's exhausting being John Cena, having to come up with inspirational quotes all the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Later on, he inspired Ezekiel with the most vague inspirations in the world. But yes, Montez Ford versus Jey Uso.
Yeah, I've never seen a hill that's never been climbed. See ya. What does that mean? I haven't got time. I'm making peacemakers.
When's your next match? Shut up.
But anyway, yeah, Jey Uso versus Montez Ford.
Yep.
Good. Good. The guys are so good.
Yeah,
they're really good together.
Yeah.
And Montez Ford won. The power of John Cena's hype and advice got him the win. Another loss for the Usos.
Very weird.
Heading into their title match.
I'm guessing they're just retaining the belts, and so they're just sort of like going, oh, let's make it sort of even.
Yeah.
By you lose all the matches on television, and you'll win on the pay-per-view.
That's my guess as well, but it's also quite infuriating.
Yeah.
The Mysterions started their feud with the Judgment Day, which I guess like last week's main event was the test run for that.
Yeah.
The Judgment Day, I'm pretty sure that Damian Priest is very pleased with his choice to side with Finn Balor, considering that he hasn't been on TV since. It's like,
really good.
Oh man, I sided with the loser Balor, and now I'm just a loser alongside him.
Literally haven't done a single thing.
I haven't done a thing since they did the big turn on Edge.
Yep.
Turns out Edge was the most important part of that faction.
And in this, were they trying to sort of lure Dominic to join them, I guess?
I think, because this once was a group of elite people, now it's like, Dom. You'll do.
Why not go for Ray?
Well, I guess because, like, Ray's old, and it's like, hey, no, we don't need your, like... I mean, do you know what? If they did something with, like, Edge and Ray being a team against Judgment Day and stuff,
that'd be great.
It could be some fun. Like, if they managed to lure Dominic across, Edge and Ray are former tag champions back in the day, so like maybe there could be something around that.
That'd be great.
That might be quite a fun little match.
Yeah.
That'll eventually get on TV because Edge will be back. And we then got, and I'm not kidding here, people, a video package for John Cena. It then cut to the commentators who talked up John Cena and then showed a video package for John Cena.
It was unbelievable.
I was like, oh, well, there's the video package. Cool. What's the next segment? What, another one?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
It was. I mean, also, what is remarkable, looking at those sort of career retrospective in that video package, is that at any given time, unless you know explicitly which video is from, I don't think there's any good way to be able to tell what period of John Cena's career it is, because he is so unchangeable throughout the last 20 years.
Same face.
Yep.
Basically the same hair.
Yep.
Same crappy t-shirts.
Yep.
Same jorts. Mm-hmm. Same terrible punches.
Yeah.
Like it's same finish. Cena wins. LOL.
It's always the same.
The only way to tell it is which belt he's holding.
Yes.
Like which design of the WWE Championship he's currently holding.
Yes.
Like, is it the spinner? Is it the one that Rock brought in?
Yep.
Is it the World Heavyweight Championship? Like, it's the only way to differentiate these matches.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the point where people really started to turn in favor of John Cena was when he was doing the US title open challenge and stuff like that. And it was actually genuinely interesting for the first time in a very long time. And I think it's because it's the first time we'd ever seen some character development from his character.
And it was great. It was such an exciting time of Raw as well, because it was basically John Cena went out there and just had the best match every week.
Yeah.
Because he was just working with like some of the best talent that the company had.
Yeah.
And like we got like some really cool not NXT call-ups, but just NXT cameos.
Yeah.
Like Sami Zayn came up for one. That was the start of the big Kevin Owens feud that he had.
Yeah.
It was a really awesome use of John Cena, and it's kind of what I wish they would do with the US title a bit more, or just like one of these belts be like that, open just go in there and have great matches every week.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, a lot of John Cena for this whole episode.
Kevin Patrick was in the ring to introduce The Miz, because I guess The Miz can't be his own guest on Miz TV, so
ridiculous.
I had to bring out Kevin Patrick to be the host of Miz TV this week, I guess. And Miz did not look that arsed that he didn't win that battle royal.
Nope.
Not bothered in the least.
It's like it didn't happen.
Yeah, really just came out, just did his regular entrance. Yeah, I'm The Miz. And I'm like, well, cool. I mean, you're not in Money in the Bank, mate. Like, not asked.
Don't get.
Not even in a heel way.
No.
Just like that literally means nothing to me.
It was like it genuinely hadn't happened to me.
Yeah. Like, absolutely means nothing to me. I'm going to be tagging with Logan Paul at SummerSlam. I'm already in a big storyline, Kevin. I don't need a stupid briefcase.
I'm with a YouTuber.
And said that he's going to be tagging with Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Didn't say who against.
Yep.
And Kevin Patrick pointed out that Miz turned on Logan Paul at WrestleMania. And he was like, no, I spoke with Logan after the match and told him it was a learning moment. And we're actually all on the same page again.
Right.
So, is the story here? I'm going to present you two options.
Yeah.
Is the story here that Miz thinks he's going to tag team with Logan Paul, and Logan Paul's going to turn on him? It's going to be Miz versus Logan Paul at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Option B, WWE don't care, and they're just going to have them tagged again, like it never happened.
I think there might be an option 3 where actually they do tag together, but then Logan Paul turns on him and they set up a WrestleMania match. That's what I think would happen.
That is a good option C.
Yes. But also, option B there.
Just thinking about the riddle stipulation.
Could very easily happen that they do not care, or they may have. Well, they clearly haven't forgotten. So yes and no, they just don't care.
Yeah. He ran down AJ Styles for a little bit, then AJ came down and they had a match. Despite the fact they were in the Battle Royal together, they then had a match.
Yeah.
And I was like, should have released all those people, lads, because clearly your roster's thin.
Yeah, it's really strange. I was very shocked at that.
But poor old Judgment Day cannot get on the card.
We can't have them on the card. Be ridiculous.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Not Finn Balor.
What wrestling? No, I think so.
Well, when we compete later on promoting Logan Paul. No, we want wrestlers.
AJ and Miz had a match. I thought Miz actually had this really cool sequence this way. He basically did like a Daniel Bryan sequence. Like he did a series of kicks and then hit Psycho knee, and I was like, all right. It's kind of a cool bit of character development. The big feud that kind of like, his last really big feud that he had, he's now added that into his repertoire more than just doing the it kicks. Yeah. It's actually a pretty cool thing to add.
Yeah.
But they had a good match, so of course I had a terrible finish. Miz left.
Weird.
Yep, just left.
He just walked away. Confused looking as well. I didn't know whether he was acting like he was so sort of dumbstruck, or whether he just was like, I'm just going to go, actually.
Yeah. I think I'll lose twice tonight.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Yeah. We had John Cena chatting backstage with Ezekiel, and Austin Theory walked up with him. He tried to take a selfie, but Cena walked away. Bianca Belair made an entrance. Then we got video appearances from Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, JBL, Jericho, Stephanie, and Steve Austin promoting his beer.
Yep.
I really like that John Cena kid. He also likes my beer.
Also very good, Steve Austin.
It's not bad. It's no Steve here. But yeah, and then we got a recap of Carmella winning last week, and then we got a Bianca Belair promo.
Yeah.
Standing there for ages.
So long.
Yeah. So this was nothing of anything really.
I mean, there's not much they can do. I mean, this is where I feel bad for WWE to a certain extent. They couldn't really build this up because they didn't have time to really build this up.
Yeah.
I thought it was an all right promo from Bianca Belair. Built up Carmella quite a lot, actually, in a weird way, and was like, actually, she's, she actually kind of needs to believe in herself more, which is a really interesting angle for like a face to be like, yeah, actually, the reason why this person is doing all these heelish things is because they don't believe in themselves enough. Actually, they're really good. I liked that angle and things like that. But there's nothing you can really do to make me excited for the match. They're trying their best.
Yeah. And that's the problem, isn't it? Because we mentioned this last week.
Yeah.
Carmella won, but she hasn't been on TV since April. It's like her first match in a long ass time. And we made the point, it's like, if you're going to do this, build them up. Someone very correctly did call me out on that, being like, it was a last minute thing. How can they build her up? It's a very, very fair point. You could have used this week.
Yes.
To try and do something. But they did this. It's fine. I think it's because they probably know that this isn't a big match anymore. So we'll do this. It's fine. Belair's going to win.
Yep.
And then we'll just, hopefully Rhea can come back and we can do something around that instead.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. We then had Sarah Schreiber interviewing Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss, who both want to win this weekend at Money in the Bank. Then we had Liv Morgan versus Alexa Bliss with Asuka on commentary. This was a match that was like, it didn't really get into a second gear.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't given the time. And I think they both worked hard at the time that they had. But the big thing here is that Liv got the win.
Yeah.
Liv got this shock roll-up win on Alexa Bliss. Asuka sold it massive. Bliss sold it really, really good. Liv Morgan was like, of course I won.
Yeah.
And I loved that reaction from Liv Morgan. I was like, yeah, of course I won.
Yeah.
Like, you all don't think I can do this, but I can. And I'm going to win this Saturday.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really, really awesome moment. And actually, because they didn't get into that second gear, it leaves a lot on the table for them to do future matches down the line where they can get into that second gear when maybe there's a title on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think Asuka did a really good job of like building up Liv. There's one point where she was asked who she was most concerned about, and she looked very consternated about this for a long time, and then eventually went, Liv!
Vince McMahon's yelling at her in the headset, being like, say Liv! Say the name! Say it!
Liv! But yeah, I think they did a good job there. And it makes me wonder, though, do we think this is going to be like Liv gets the win now and then she won't win on the weekend?
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
I think Liv winning here kind of guarantees that she's not winning Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And if anything, it might guarantee that Alexa Bliss is winning Money in the Bank. Just pin her the week before and give her the briefcase.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I had Alexa down as like my pick to win this year's Money in the Bank anyway, once she made her return. So I feel like she's not doing anything at the moment. So I feel like putting that at least gives her something to do.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a video package for John Cena. But it's okay, it's our last one, because John Cena then came out and cut his promo, top of the second hour. The final hour saw Bobby Lashley versus American Alpha in a 2-on-1 handicap match, with Austin Theory as the guest enforcer.
Yes.
Now, I might have missed something because I was making a cup of coffee while some of this was going on.
Yep.
Did this actually play into anything?
I don't know.
No,
it didn't.
I didn't think it did.
I don't remember it being, because like one of my things is like, why have they given Theory this job?
Yeah, like he didn't overturn any decisions or anything, or be like, oh no, I've now decided that they don't need to tag in. It's now it's a 2-on-1 tornado handicap match.
Yes, yeah.
He just stood there in a tight referee shirt with the sleeves cut off.
Yep.
And then afterwards beat down Bobby Lashley after Bubbles won and took a selfie.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very odd. I don't understand. I didn't understand why he was given that job. Why he couldn't just be ringside? Because essentially that's all he did.
That's all he was there.
It was everything that he would have done ringside anyway. I mean, I also did enjoy that Corey Graves claimed at one point that no human being can beat 2 superstars when Lashley did that just on the very last pay-per-view. He said any 2 superstars cannot be beaten by 1 human being.
Good one, Corey.
Remarkable.
Thank you for everyone who's correcting me in the chat. Apparently I called them American Alpha. That was...
Oh, but so easily done, though.
Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, of course. It was Alpha Academy. If anyone's watching this and they didn't watch Raw, they'll be like, oh my God, what? American Alpha are back?
Oh my God.
Jason Jordan returned to the ring? No, sorry.
No,
sorry, everyone.
Sorry. That'd be lovely.
Lovely. Love that. But no, this was Chad Gable and Otis.
You know what it is? It's ever since we watched the NXT Takeover Dallas, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, for WrestleTalk Extra.
And now we've both done that, I think, where we called them American Alpha.
Oh, well. We had a recap of Cody and Hell in a Cell, and then Cody cut this promo about, gee willikers, I'm just missing Money in the Bank.
Yep.
But hey, someone's got to win it.
Yep.
And if it's Seth, I'll be there to congratulate him on it. So I was like, oh, don't be in Money in the Bank, Cody. Like, you're so hurt.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
If you're gonna do it, like that's the thing. If they save Ezekiel and Kevin Owens for another day, and don't have that anything to do with the Money in the Bank, which actually I would prefer, and they do like a Cody Rhodes like run in. Oh, he is the secret last entrant. That'd be really quite fun.
Yeah.
But
so I don't know about that. And then we had this actually did make me laugh, which is ironic, because Seth approached John Cena, laughing like John Cena's entrance music.
Yes.
He came up to going, ha, 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 ha. Like, finally, the laughs paid off for something. But he said he's going to win and cash in Money in the Bank. And then MVP and Amos came up and said, he's dead tall. He's probably going to win.
You haven't realised he's very tall.
Oh, yeah. And then John Cena said, yeah, I could see that. Never give up. Wandered off. I think Cena's wrong here. I don't think Amos is winning.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Who? Because you're not on the predictions. Who are your picks for Money in the Bank?
Oh, it's a really good question, actually.
Thank you.
Oh, I actually think that I think Alexa Bliss is a very, very good shout for the women's. I don't think Becky's going to win it, because I think you're right. I think it's going to play into that thing of like she just can't get a break. Unless they do just go safe and give it to Becky. I'm not sure. But I think Alexa Bliss is a very, very good shout for that, especially after Liv. It was between Alexa and Liv, and now I think because Liv won, she's going to lose.
Yep.
And then in the men's.
Men's, I think, is tougher.
Yeah. But it's not going to be Amos.
No.
It's not going to be Riddle.
Nope. I think it'll be Riddle anyway.
Yeah.
Seth, I think he's probably he'd be my pick.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Because it's not. I don't think it's going to be Drew or Sheamus.
No, that's very true. Well, Sheamus definitely not. No. Well, Drew's definitely not. Sheamus is very unlikely. It's got to be Seth.
Yeah, I think
really.
Yeah, I'm just double checking. Is there anyone we're missing?
Well, there is the
Riddle, Seth, Drew, Amos. Oh, and Sami Zayn is the other one we haven't got.
Sami Zayn. I don't think it's going to be Sami Zayn. I'd love it to be Sami Zayn, though. I would absolutely love it to be Sami Zayn. So my heart would say Sami, but my head would say Seth.
Yeah, I wonder if it's not. If it is going to be a mystery,
yeah,
I would think it's probably going to be the mystery man.
Yes.
In this, but if it's like just, I don't know, Ricochet, then it's probably just going to be. I think it's most likely Seth winning.
Yes, exactly.
And then you mentioned just then Becky Lynch versus Nikki ASH versus Doudrop versus Tamina versus Xia Li versus Shayna Baszler, brand split, LOL, in a last chance match for the last place in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. It was elimination rules.
Yep.
And I get why they did that for the final face-off, but there were also only 10 minutes left of the show.
Yep.
So I was like, well, this will be like an old Survivor Series match.
Yes.
Like, you do a suplex and pin someone.
Yes, absolutely.
Poor old Xia Li was out first, and then Becky tapped out Nikki ASH. But then here's what I thought was quite a nice thing to do, actually, was Doudrop then eliminated Shayna Baszler.
Yep.
And then Doudrop eliminated Tamina.
Yeah.
So 2 eliminations for Becky, 2 eliminations for Doudrop. They're the final 2.
Yeah.
And then it's Becky versus Doudrop. I think they needed more time.
Yeah, they did.
To really sell this and sell like the sort of the big war of attrition that it needs to be, because this ended very shortly after Tamina got eliminated.
Yeah.
And it was Becky doing the manhandle slam from the second rope.
Yeah.
Which really feels like that's your final spot after doing 10 minutes of just you two.
Yes, exactly. Like, trying to get her into the disarmer and things like that.
Yeah,
Like,
kicking out the Manhattan Slams. Oh, I've now got to do a bigger version of it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And like Doudrop hitting her finisher and then Becky kicking out the last second. But I was really glad that Doudrop got 2 eliminations.
Same here.
Every single note for the last few weeks on Raw have been like, oh, poor Doudrop.
Want something better for it. And actually, there was a part of me that really was hoping it was going to be Doudrop going into this.
Yeah.
2 reasons. A, bloody love Viper.
Yeah.
She's just one of the nicest people I've ever met, and is just such a terrific wrestler as well. Just want the best for her.
Absolutely.
But secondly, I thought it'd be really interesting for the downward spiral of Becky Lynch. Of just she had 3 opportunities to get into Money in the Bank. She lost all 3 of them. I think that'd been something really cool. I get Becky needs to be on the pay-per-view.
Yes.
It's on the bloody poster. She should be on the pay-per-view. But there was part of me that's like, oh man, what a cool character thing that would be. Considering that, we didn't mention this earlier, when John Cena was doing his Key and Peele sketch, congratulate people, Becky wasn't joining in on the everyone stand up and applaud John Cena. She was sat there, despondent, looking dead into dead space, and just slowly clapping. She wasn't bothered by John Cena, which makes sense because she's never shown that respect to John Cena anyway.
Yes.
Because she thinks she's bigger than John Cena.
Yeah.
So I liked it from that character, but also she's so focused on the fact that she's not champion.
Yeah.
I was like, what could that mean if she then doesn't win this one either?
Absolutely. I mean, it's that dichotomy you have of you've got to keep her away from the championship to keep this character, this story going, but also you can't have her lose all the time.
Yeah, and she's one of your top stars.
Yes.
So yeah, you're right. You can't keep pinning her and things like that. So yeah,
exactly.
But I quite like the idea. Actually, you mentioned wonder if Becky wins. What if Becky wins, cashes it in immediately and fails? She cashed it on a Bianca Belair, or you do this at doing it at SummerSlam would be even amazing.
Yeah.
And Bianca pins her in 23 seconds and totally mirror what you did at the SummerSlam previous.
That'd be amazing.
I think that would make it for an awesome visual.
Yes.
And a really cool moment as well for that. SummerSlam would be an amazing place to do it as well.
Yeah.
Of that raucous crowd and Bianca Belair getting that revenge. What a wonderful little denouement to their story.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, you should book it.
If I were in charge, it's what I would do.
Yes, that's the best thing to do.
There will be people who will be like, it's a waste of a Money in the Bank cash in, but also I think
it'd be great.
You got 2 of them.
Yeah.
2 of them. Do a better cash in with the other one.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I scored this episode, realistically it was a 3 out of 5 show.
Yep.
But then I kind of bumped it up to 4. And the reason I did that was because I realized if I said 4, I could make a "you can't see me" joke on the edited review.
Great.
So I kind of did that, and I was like, "Oh well, I guess I've scored a 4 out of 5 now." But
I'm going to go for 3 myself.
Yeah.
Only because there was a little bit too much John Cena stuff.
It was a little bit, yeah. I think it's because it was just so nice that it made me sort of forget about all of the John Cena stuff, and how much it was hammered home.
Yes.
Yeah, realistically, I think this was a 3 out of 5. A very good edition of the show.
Absolutely, yeah.
Not a great go-home edition for Money in the Bank, I don't think. But
no, it didn't build up the pay-per-view much, but I really enjoyed myself. I had a nice time.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the rest of your Ultra chats here. WrestleTalk.com/support. Get your opinion heard. 10 Ruzza is kicking things off here. Said, and his name is John Cena. It's always nice to see an actual star from WWE show up. I started watching wrestling in 2003. Just missed out on the Attitude Era. So this was my entry point star, along with Batista, Edge, Eddie, and Randy. Plus its theme is a banger.
Well, it's good. Yes, I would agree with that.
I'm going to read you something here. Can you read the next Ultra Chat?
Absolutely, yes. Tenriza then added, actually, an extra Ultra Chat afterwards, saying, which theme of Cena do you prefer? The Doctor of Thugonomics or Time Is Now? What are your interest levels going into Money in the Bank and SummerSlam? I still want The Rock to come back and get the Reigns match at Mania over and done with. Really can't wait for Blood and Guts. #Swiss. But yeah, what theme do you prefer?
So I prefer Doctor of Thugonomics. I wasn't around for Doctor of Thugonomics. The Cena I know is Time Is Now Cena.
Yeah.
Is boop boo doo doo.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very little fun tune.
Yeah.
So I think I'd probably go with that, only because Dr. Thugonomics is a bit cringe.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I would agree with Time Is Now, especially because of I always think of that Royal Rumble where he returned miraculously.
Yes.
And that music was perfect for that moment.
Oh yeah.
There was something about the I don't know how you describe
that music, that boom. Wow, do. Like I agree with you. I think I'm gonna go with Your Time Is Now. Like I think it is a better song. I remember when I wasn't watching wrestling, and there's a friend I was working with at my local Sainsbury's when I was a shelf stacker in my time, and back in my day, and he was telling me about like, I saw some wrestling recently. And I was like, oh really? What was it? And he was like, he told me that the Undertaker was coming back as the proper Undertaker. It's the way that he put it as well. So they're kind of, it's WrestleMania 20 time. Yeah. And I told the story on the WrestleMania 20 podcast we did. Me and my friends then bought WrestleMania 20 just to see the Undertaker match. Yeah. And my friend's only comment in there was like, Eddie Guerrero's champion, but he's like a mid-card guy. Like he's an intercontinental guy. Like that's totally unbelievable. We totally missed all the cool Eddie stuff, right? Yes. But I remember him telling me about it. It's like, oh, there's this guy called John Cena. He's so cool. Because there's this other guy called Brock Lesnar, and his move's called the F5. So he's got a move. He calls it the FU. And I was thinking like, that sounds quite lame. No, I don't think that's cool at all, Tom, actually.
It's not cool at all.
I think you're wrong, Tom.
You don't understand what cool is.
I'm going to go watch Jackass instead, if you don't mind.
He also asked us what our interest levels were in going into Money in the Bank at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, I mean, we'll get to that when we see the card.
Yes.
Like, Brock versus Roman, I have zero interest in whatsoever. I could not give a monkey's ass about that match.
Doesn't matter.
And that's the only thing that's been announced so far. And like, to be honest, like, if it's either Miz versus Logan Paul or Miz and Logan Paul, I'm not that asked about that either. So currently SummerSlam is quite low.
Yes.
But Money in the Bank, though, I always like a Money in the Bank ladder match. So
it's always fun.
I am excited for Money in the Bank.
Yes, definitely.
So I wanted to read you this because on WrestleTalk Extra, I go through the old Observers and I go through the old Figure 4s and stuff. And we're going to be doing TNA Slammiversary 2005.
Great pay-per-view.
Great pay-per-view. Ollie and I are recording it tomorrow, in fact. And I was reading this from Figure 4 Weekly from the time. This is from the June 27, 2005 edition. It is prevalent to what we were just talking about there. We're told the deal Cena has with WWE for his CD is awful because the Time Is Now song was for his album.
Oh.
Which I can't remember what the album was called now, but he released this album with it. And I remember actually going to a shop and you couldn't buy it. It was like sold out everywhere. Anyway, here's what he writes. Basically, the going royalty rate in the music industry is 7.1 cents per song per album sold. And since there are 17 songs on the CD, each disc makes $1.20. That sounds insane, by the way, considering that like the royalties you get is $1.20.
Yeah.
For a whole album?
Considering how much an album is.
Yeah. Half of that revenue, however, goes straight to the publishing company, which is, oh yes, Stephanie Publishing. Stephanie as in McMahon. This is the most creative thing she could have come up with, setting up her own company. So that leaves 60 cents per album, which is split up between the authors of the lyric, and since several people are responsible, that might cut it down to 20 or 30 cents per album sold for him. So if they sold 100,000 CDs, which is a gross of 1.8 million if they were sold at $18.95, he'll make anywhere from 20,000 to 60,000. So for all of you aspiring rappers and musicians out there, take some time, set up your own publishing company. Now obviously like, hey, 20 grand, 60 grand, I'm gonna be sniffed at. But if the gross is 1.8 million, you'd be fuming. Yeah, I'm making not a lot from that.
It's amazing that they did. Like, I mean, obviously at that time there was no competition to run to, but it's amazing that he wasn't more frustrated by that situation. I would be infuriated.
Well, that's why they say the music industry is a troublesome one. Yes. Charles Berg said, Mysterio easily had line of the night. I'll show you how bad of a father I am. I really enjoyed Becky Lynch's reverse Paul London impression. My first wrestling experience was watching Cena rap battle Rikishi.
Oh my.
I
don't remember that.
I was not watching then. Did Rikishi do something with his butt? Because that's what I'd imagine.
Probably, yep.
I knew from that moment he was the guy. Yes. I'll hot tag over to you for the Ultra Chance.
Oh, yes, please. David McCartney said, hey guys, just wanted to let you know, just wanted to know what you think about Seth winning Money in the Bank and cashing it in the heist of the millennium. Seth gets heel heat, belts off Roman finally, and the Rumble winner gets screwed, pushing Cody's win to mean more. By the way, I can use my NZD here.
That's New Zealand dollars.
Oh, New Zealand dollars here. Oh, well.
Ugh, rubbish.
Sorry. That was the rest of the message I can't even remember. But yes, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, Seth cashing in on Roman. I don't know, man. Like I am in a position now with Roman Reigns where I don't think I care if Roman loses the belts or still has them.
No, yes.
Like I'm really ambivalent towards the whole thing now. Like, is Seth winning the belts like any better? And then there are some people like, oh, what if he just wins one of the belts? Which I really don't like that. I think that's an even worse idea. No. So I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't feel like Roman needs the belt anymore.
Absolutely not. No,
he's absolutely at that tippy top place. So.
And because he's not on TV either a lot. Like the belts mean nothing to me at this point because like I don't see them at all.
Yes.
Like in my world, they don't exist.
Yes.
So a good part of the reason why I'm not into the Brock match either. The setup for that, by the way, was hilarious. Where Roman Reigns was like, "There's no one else for me to beat. Here comes the guy I just beat a couple of months ago." To be like, my turn now. So yeah, I don't know about that one. Also, like I think if it is Roman Rock, the belts will be on the line.
Yeah, they probably will.
They already will, like because that's the way WWE do things. Like Rock Cena 2 didn't need the belt.
No,
but they were like, "But it's the biggest match on the card.
Yeah,
so we've got to put the belts on it."
Which is it's silly because
Jericho Michaels didn't need the belt for their feud, but they were like, "I don't know, it's the biggest feud we got. Take the belt off Punk."
Yeah, it's so odd. Like, why do they have? Because now it's just making more predictable ultimately, and like I'm pretty certain that Roman will probably win, but if the belts are with it, then it's almost there's no way that The Rock wins that. Benny Boy 004 says, "I've got a fun idea for Riddle in Money in the Bank. Have him win, but not be allowed to cash in on Roman as he's not allowed to challenge him for the title, just like you said earlier."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got an email about that as well, actually, with that idea. And I kind of like it. I just don't think that's... I just think they're ignoring that stipulation.
Yeah, almost certainly.
It's never been brought up since, so it has to be ignored.
Yes, exactly. Armageddon 94 said, "Hasn't Money in the Bank always superseded the no challenge stipulation? After losing to Lashley the last time Drew tried to use Money in the Bank to get another title shot at the title?"
Well, I don't know. Like, if the stipulation was you can never challenge for the belt again, and Money in the Bank is challenging for the belt.
Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, again, I don't think WWE care.
No.
Really, the only person that's bothered about this is me.
Yeah, it's only the viewers who care. And why would WWE care about that? Eternal Blue says, "Judging by your review, as I refuse to watch WWE, this company truly has no stars on their roster under the age of 40. And it's embarrassing. A badly produced show from a company booked by an adulterous geriatric who is stroking his own ego on TV." Oh, I can't disagree with any of those words.
That is a hell of a last sentence right there, isn't it? A damning indictment of WWE.
Absolutely. Do you want me to hot tag back?
I'll hot tag back. Marcel Art said, "Well, I had a hell of a run, but today I finally tested positive for COVID, and let me say, it is no fun. But you can pre-order the German version of Worldwide Wrestling now, and yours truly works on it. Also, happy to see Tempest in the UK. Apples." Two very good things there. A, German version of Worldwide Wrestling. That's the game that we use for CBW over on partsFUNknown. But also, B, congratulations, Parts, for working on it. That's truly rad. Yeah, fun game as well.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very fun game.
In the German version, presumably Jurgen's a face.
Got to assume. Maybe in the topsy-turvy world, Sob Ross is also... Actually, what am I talking about? Of course Sob Ross is a baby face.
Yeah, of course he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Germany with all their love of Schadenfreude.
Riot Diaz said, "Hey yo, was on planes from one end of the US to the other most of yesterday, so I greatly appreciate you guys and your awesome coverage. Glad to know I didn't miss too much. Love you people. Jam that jam. Hello, Sullivan." I mean, you missed Forbidden Door by the sounds of things. Yeah. Chris here said, "Sorry, but as a full Star Wars fan who's watched a lot, from King of the Night, King of the Old Republic to the sequels, I can say the prequels are good films. Revenge of the best of the entire saga. Clone Wars is a great TV show, so is Kenobi."
All right.
Okay. Look, I think Revenge of the Sith is fine. It is a broadly fine movie.
Yep.
In that, it set out to do something, and it did more or less do that.
Yes. But the dialogue, like all the other prequels, is cack.
Oh, yeah. Oh, real bad. Real bad.
It's unbelievably bad.
The guffaw I let out when they said her vital organs seem to be fine. She appears to be dying of a broken heart. Shut up, George.
Shut up!
George. No. None of this, mate. What are you on about?
You have space lasers. You have the ability to go from planet to planet, and yet you still think that people die of broken hearts?
Oh, George. I'm sure in reality, maybe it does happen, but it sounded well corny though, didn't it, mate?
Yes.
That and Ewan McGregor's performance of, and he killed younglings. Oh, Ewan, you're checked out of this, aren't you? I mean, you've been checked out since episode 1, but you're well checked out by now.
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently, the Clone Wars is a fantastic TV show.
I've heard it's great.
The bits I've watched of it, really enjoyed.
Yeah, no,
I totally agree with that.
Oh, I mean, it's not like all prequel-related stuff is bad.
No.
It's just those 3 movies, particularly Attack of the Clones, is egregiously terrible.
Really bad.
So, I mean, I thought The Phantom Menace was astoundingly boring.
Yes.
Because it is like, I mean, a lot of politics chat, and it's well, yeah, that's what I want to see from Star Wars, trade chats. Like, that's what we came here for, wasn't it? Big old Star Wars. What if I do this deal here? Oh, great, it's diplomacy. Awesome risk. Like, that's what we wanted from this. But, like, I thought that was boring. And then I watched Attack of the Clones and, like, Christmas Day, like, do something. Honestly, do something.
Any time where somebody who becomes Darth Vader is just talking about how much he doesn't like sand, that's a bad scene.
It's so boring. And incredible. I have tried to do Star Wars rewatches. Every year I'll attempt to do one. And like, what I want to do is just rewatch 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. But my brain says like, no, start at 1.
Yeah,
just watch. I've watched The Phantom Menace so many bloody times because I'm like, I'll start with 1, won't I? I get halfway through Attack of the Clones, I'm like, I can't do it. Damn it, I can't do this.
No.
And really, like, I could just go straight to 4, and my brain won't let me do it.
I get what you mean, though. I totally get what you mean. Yeah. I haven't sat down to it because I know I have to go through 1, 2, and 3. But I know that I'll have to do that.
I have to do it at some point. Oh. Yeah. No, not good movies. I mean, from a personal perspective.
If you like them, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really great.
I've never told you the first time I saw The Phantom Menace. So Phantom Menace, it's 1999. I'm 14 years old. Me and my brother go to see a midnight screening of The Phantom Menace. I was so excited. Massive Star Wars nerds that we were. Toys, the gold VHS box set that made the fart noise when you pulled it out because it was so tight with the special edition movies in there. We had like all the VHS and stuff like that. So we were big into our Star Wars. So excited. My brother had gone to Toys R Us 2 days early and bought all of the action figures.
Amazing.
Bear in mind, my brother is 6 years older than I am. He was 20 years old. Because in his head, he was like, oh, they'll probably be worth money. Even though I told him, I don't think they will. I was right, because mass manufactured. Anyway, so we went to the midnight screening, and we came out, and we were like oddly quiet. Yeah. And I rationalized with myself. I was too excited. I was too excited to see the movie. That's why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
My expectations were too high. That's why I didn't like the movie. So I went to go see it again.
Now my expectations are low. I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
It wasn't even that. I was just like, I was just too excited. Yeah. Like, I was just too excited to see the movie. I was too excited to enjoy it. So I'll go and see it again. I saw that movie 6 times at the cinema. Each time trying to convince myself or work out why I didn't like this. Because I couldn't fathom Star Wars being bad.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't work it out.
6 times, Luke?
Well, in fairness, one of those times is because someone, bearing in mind this is like, this is like early internet days as well. Like someone had told me on the schoolyard that like, oh, the ETs are in one scene. And like the Wookiees are in another, like in that the trade scenes and stuff. Yes. Like, oh, you can see them as like a little Easter egg thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, really? So I went to the cinema that weekend just to watch that scene. Just so I could watch that cameo because I'd missed it the first 4 times I'd seen it. One of the times, me and my cousin snuck in. We watched Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. That was in the Virgin Cinema in Wigan. Security there was very lax. We walked across the hallway from Austin Powers, Spy Who Shagged Me into Phantom Menace. Then walked back out and watched Austin Powers again. Which is a better movie.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think like it's only until recent years I've realised that I was like, no, it's just a bad movie. And just I just couldn't fathom it being bad. So I just convinced myself it was good.
Yep.
Did the same thing with the Street Fighter movie in the 90s as well.
Yeah.
I was like, no, of course it's good. It's a Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
How can it be bad?
There's no such thing as a bad Street Fighter movie.
There's no part. There can't be. George Lucas can't make a bad Star Wars movie, surely.
He's made 3 really good ones.
Yeah, and you'd be like, oh, I know. But the pod race was good, though, wasn't it? Like, Duel of the Fates, though, you know. Like, and you think about it, it is good. So, like, makes up for everything else. Makes up for all the Gungan stuff. Like,
Jar Jar Binks. Oh my goodness.
Stevie Howland said, as someone who didn't see a Star Wars movie until my late 20s, I can tell you all love for the mainline films is driven by nostalgia. Yep. Hang on now, Stevie. The universe as a whole is fantastic, but the main timeline films are not good without nostalgia for one's childhood.
Oh, whoa.
4, 5, and 6 are good.
Yes,
particularly 4 and 5 and 6.
Where are these hot takes coming from, Luke?
See, Stevie, look. And maybe, right, maybe nostalgia is driving me here, but come on now. Come on. It's an insane thing to say.
Here's the thing, okay? I might be proof that this is not the case, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't grow up watching the original Star Wars films.
Right.
I didn't watch them until I was an adult. I watched the prequels because they were coming out, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll watch them. But I just never had them because we just weren't a big like Star Wars fan. Nobody in the family watched it really. And I think like my parents had watched it when they came out, and they never watched it ever again. They were like, oh yeah, I like those films. And then I watched them as an adult. No, they're just good films.
Yeah, just good films, mate.
Just good films.
Oh, mate,
they're just good films. It's not nostalgia driven at all.
Good performances from everyone.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mostly okay dialogue.
Yeah.
Fun little story.
Absolutely.
Action
Nice
sequences
plots.
are pretty alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good solid films.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, absolutely. The prequels
On the other hand,
are absolutely terrible.
really quite bad. Me and my brother went to these. There's the re-releases, the special edition re-releases in '97 because we just wanted to see the new scenes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Like they put the Jabba the Hutt scene back in, and like I remember like on the special. This is becoming a Star Wars podcast now. Like, anyone doesn't give out Star Wars, I'm very sorry. But like in the special edition, they reinsert the Jabba scene into episode 4. But when they filmed it, it was just a guy wearing like in a fur coat thing. It was only until part 6 they made him into the giant slug. So they put like a CG version of the slug Jabba walking through and chatting with Han. But then they have this point when Han Solo does like a 360 walk around him, and they're like, but there's a tail there. And so we digitally have him like move up, and he steps on the tail and steps down. And at the time you're like, my God, what else can they do?
Unbelievable.
Like, unbelievably magic. And you watch and you're like, it's smooth as butter. You go back and watch it now, it's like, oh, that's really terrible. Like, that looks so arse. I could do that on Premiere Pro, and I'm very bad at Premiere Pro. Like with today's tech, oh man. But at the time, mind-blowing how good it was. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough Star Wars chat. Last one here from Chris. He just says that he would like to see Cena do Alexa in a rap battle because apparently she did a performance at the weekend, which was great. So there you go. Well, that's all we've got time for on this edition of the podcast of Star Wars Chat with Lucas Sullivan.
Featuring Raw, which heavily featured John Cena.
And also Raw. Thing is now, like when I do the Dynamite review, there'll just be loads of people asking Star Wars questions.
Absolutely.
Oh, don't get Ollie started on those prequels, buddy. He'll have a field day. He hates Attack of the Clones so much.
It's a terrible film.
It's a bad film.
It's fair.
It is fair. One of the worst things I've ever seen. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. Please do give this video a thumbs up. Press the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're back tomorrow, NXT podcast with Sat Eni Yankee and SP3, but also Money in the Bank predictions with Adam and Tempest, and I'll be there as well because I'll be handing out the entrance for Jam in the Jar, their avatars going into the matches. Because yes, Jam in the Jar is making its return this year. Someone will be able to cash in on the Jam That Championship. It's very exciting times. And then on Thursday, myself and Oliver Davis were doing the Dynamite review, all the fallout from the actual Forbidden Door, not the one that was on this thumbnail. So thank you all so much for listening and watching. Take care. Love you. Goodbye. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam.